India has a concept of three things. Income accrues or arises in your hand. Any income accrues because of your transactions. It may be received or not, is not relevant. Amount receivable is also your income. Income received. Income accrues, arises, or income received. Or income deemed to accrue, arise, or received, where the word is deemed. If it happens to be in India, only that income is taxable in your hands. Income accrues outside India, not taxable. Income received outside India but accrues in India, taxable. Income accrues and received outside India, not taxable as far as non-residents are concerned. And then what is this new animal? Income deemed to accrue or arise in India. There are 7 characters of that we will come to, and if that happens, it is taxable, and that is particularly for non-residents only. This section is designed only for non-resident and not for residents. Section income deemed to accrue or arise, section 9. So we need to really concentrate on that section as well, and there are major amendments to that section after 2012 which are very relevant for us to look at. Though as a non-resident Indian or non-resident Indian individual, those situations may not be applicable to you in every case, but still it is possible, because you may enter into a transaction as a sole proprietor sometimes. Then you will be impacted. So you have to see section 5 particularly in this manner. The chart explains by itself, and then you go to the other part of the provisions of the Income Tax Act. Let me go back to the first slide. What are the other sections? I'll just summarily take them, then I'll jump to the remaining explanation. When to stop, please tell me. So don't hesitate to say that, to show me slide. Then you have certain specific provisions under the Income Tax Act which are called as a deemed income. Very fine. Deemed income, section 44 AD to 44 BB. These are certain specified type of businesses which will not bother. Section 90, very important for you. India has tax treaties with the world. We have 91 tax treaties. Unfortunately, Bahrain does not have tax treaty. And because Bahrain does not have tax treaty, these consequences of looking into section 9 is very relevant for you. Had you got the tax treaty with India, possibly you would have escaped the rigor of section 90, because the treaty overrides the domestic law. India is one stated position in our countries in the world that we always believe in treaties are superior than the domestic law. If you have a treaty with India, the treaty will overrule the domestic law. Whichever is beneficial, you are entitled to choose. You can pick and choose every year. This year treaty is beneficial, next year domestic law is beneficial. You can do that, no problem. India is very clear on that. Some of the countries believe that, but they have no written code, written law. And some of the countries don't believe in this theory. America, US says letter in law principle will prevail. The treaty, if it has come later on, which is the domestic law which has come later than the treaty, and that domestic law will prevail. Japan does not believe. Japan believes that the treaty, once it becomes part of the domestic law, it is like a domestic law. We have no differentiation between the treaty and domestic law. Our constitution does not consider treaty to be supreme. So you have to look at the tax system of each country. Unfortunately, in your region, if you look at, your all neighboring countries, this way, that way, or third way. There are 3 ways. Down south there is no country, isn't it? On this side, your Oman, Qatar, Dubai. On this side, your Jordan, Saudi Arabia. You all call Gulf region. Even for mistakenly, I have included Israel also to be a Gulf region. Though it is, I don't think you Gulf will agree to include Israel to be a Gulf region. But I thought that looking at the geographically, they are nearby. Syria, I have considered. All these countries have treaty with India, except Bahrain. And therefore, it is high time for you to negotiate the treaty. I am told, in the morning I was told, that the treaty negotiations have been very seriously undertaken. And thanks to the Bahrain chapter of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, I am told they have supported, they have initiated this discussion with the government, and the treaty negotiation progressed substantially. I do not know, but still notification has not taken place. Till the notification takes place, there is no treaty. Negotiated document has no value. But one thing I can tell you, you can negotiate the treaty retrospectively. We have examples of that. Saudi Arabia negotiated the Treaty of Transport 16 years retrospectively. 16 years retrospective. It was a salutary case of a limited treaty. But Cyprus Treaty for a comprehensive treaty was negotiated 2 years retrospectively. Number of such examples exist. Advantages of the treaty, negotiated treaty, are substantial. If something is taxable under the domestic law of India, interest on your non-resident incomes are tax-free. I don't have to say anything. Interest on NRE account, non-resident external account or fixed deposits are tax-free. Only non-residents ordinary account interest is taxable. But if it is below taxable limit, that also there is no problem. In certain circumstances, Indian tax law recognizes that if you have certain type of income, you don't have to file the return. But by and large, those type of income only in specific, but if you have got other type of income along with that, then you have to file the return. So, now what are the advantages of a treaty which, if it is signed with a country? I just try to list them for your benefit. But before I go to the treaty sections which are beneficial to you, let me take you through another important change which has taken place in the recent past, and that is Section 9's amendment. Section 9 which, why this doesn't happen? Oh, I just want to take one slide before. We have a Section 9(1) which says income business connection, deemed income. The Supreme Court of India, you all remember Vodafone's decision, first Vodafone number 1, wherein the company sold the shares, company bought the shares of the Hutchison in an Indian entity by purchasing the Hutchison Hong Kong company shares, or Hutchison this Cayman Island company shares from Hong Kong company. Cayman Island company was holding shares in the BVI in the Mauritius in BVI again Mauritius, and then finally in India. They bought the top end company, and the Vodafone's contention was it is not taxable because Section 9 was not amended. Section 9 did not have the provisions of indirect transfer, and therefore the indirect transfer was not liable to tax because it was a case of an indirect transfer. The law was amended now to say that if such indirect transfers takes place, the person who is purchasing, a person who is selling is liable to tax, and the person who is purchasing is required to withhold the tax. Supposing you have a company in Bahrain, and you know Bahrain company wants to invest into listed company shares in India. You also know the consequences listed company shares when I sell, they are not liable to tax. Because in India, short-term, long-term capital gains on sale of share is exempted if they are listed companies. But suppose by chance you got a buyer who says, I want to buy your Bahrain company itself, and underlying Indian company shares along with that I'll pay you full price. Mind it, such transaction in your individual hand, if happens, liable to tax. Because what you are selling is unlisted company share, and now the issue is Section 247 has been amended, Section 214 has been amended to say a share of a foreign company, if held an interest in India, 100% substantial interest in India, is deemed to be situated in India. So even if you are a shareholder in Bahrain, holding shares of a Bahrain company, and another Bahrain company's owner is buying your shares in India and in Bahrain and paying you the consideration, there is an obligation on the person who is purchasing to deduct tax and pay it to the government. And secondly, since the shares of a Bahrain company are unlisted company, it will become short term if it is sold within 1 year. But if you sell the listed company shares in India, so how do you structure a transaction is very important. If you sell the listed company shares in India, immediately after 12 months it becomes a long term and not liable to tax. And therefore this consequence section, that is the reason I thought Section 9 is very relevant for you to understand, and I tried to give this example. And there are so many other consequences, unlimited consequences which arises. I will not like to take you through, but I will just take you through another last important aspect. This is what I already explained here. You do not have tax treaty, but all these countries around you have a tax treaty. What are the consequences because of not having a tax treaty? If you receive interest from any person outside from in India, it is fully taxable because you are governed by Section 9. If you had the treaty, for example, UAE lender pays only 12% tax, 12.5% tax. German lender pays 10% tax. Cyprus lender pays 10% tax. You have royalty fees, which will be, if you receive, suppose an individual, I have copyright royalties in relation to some item, I will end up in paying 25% tax. Had it been a treaty, possibly it would have been a 10% tax. Had it similarly case if you are professional. Hello? Yeah. Work? Oh, yeah, okay. If you have got a fees for technical services, you are a doctor, you are a professional going to India or advising from here, somebody withholds the tax at the rate of 25%. If you have a treaty, possibly it will be subject to tax at the rate of 10%. That can be negotiated with the India. Capital gains, if you invest it through a country like Mauritius, Singapore or Cyprus, is totally exempted. But if you have a corporate structure, as an individual, you will not be able to take advantage of those treaties. Business incomes, if you have a treaty with India, and if you do not have permanent establishment in India, possibly you will get exemption altogether. What are the concepts of permanent establishment? Article 5 of the treaty, generally any treaty you look at that for that matter, has the same concept. Just I'll take you 1 minute more. And if you've got an air transport and shipping business, and your air transport, airlines and shipping companies goes to India, incomes will be possibly exempted totally. It will be taxable only in your country of residence and not in India. Then you have got salary income. If you are a salaried employee and you are going to India for the work, even 1 day's salary is taxable because you do not have tax treaty. And therefore, if you have a treaty, possibly the treaty gives you exemption. If you are 183 days staying in India without your resident employer employing you, non-resident employer employing a non-resident does not have physical presence in India, it will not tax you at all. Salary income also will be exempted. These are all the advantages which you get the treaty. There are some of the negative advantages, negative features of the treaty also. And this, in this world, exchange of information, which was one of the negative factors if the treaty you had. But anyway, the world is now changing. By 2017, you can see the world will be transformed altogether in a different style. Because of exchange of information, because of automatic exchange of information, world is now trying to negotiate with each other. If you have a bank account, if you got a remittance coming from one country, the regulator of the other country will immediately inform to your country, or the system will automatically inform the payment has come from this country. The regulator of the other country will come to know that the payments have gone, and therefore the matter will be subject matter of investigation and scrutiny. Despite the fact that you may not have the treaty, exchange of information you cannot do away with. You will have to live with it, and your country also will have to live with. And in this changing world, the only message which possibly I can convey, if you are returning India, if you are returning from Bahrain and you are a returning Indian, you want to come and settle in India, before coming to India, plan your affair in such a manner that you do not have income accruing, arising or received or deemed to accrue or arise and received in India in your personal hand, though those incomes could be received, accrued or arising in the hands of the company which you hold. Part of the control and management can be with you, and part of the control and management should be outside India. Indian regulation on companies being treated as a resident of India is such that if the whole of the control is situated in India, the company will be regarded as a resident of India. So when you are returning, don't try to make the trust. If you make the trust, don't try to be the trustee, because if you are a trustee, 100% Indian regulator will be after you. If you have a company and if you are a director, along with you, other directors are there, your friends or associates or nominee companies, possibly the control and management will be situated abroad, and therefore that company will not be liable to tax in India. And therefore, these are the few messages within the limited time possibly I can give you. Thank you very much for listening me patiently. If you have any questions, I do not know whether the time still is extended for the question and answer. Is it extended? Beg your pardon? Start now. Oh, lovely. The floor is open. Yeah, very good question. In fact, I wanted to cover, but paucity of the time did not make me to go to that level. What are the chances of the direct tax code will come back to India and the residential status vis-a-vis number of visits and all those things will come up, whether this will haunt us? Answer is, let me friend assure you, direct tax code has been buried. It is not going to see the light of the day. That is my guarantee. If that happens in the same form in which it has already been presented 3 times, I can assure you that this is not going to happen. If it happens, it will be totally in a new avatar. And I don't think the government of India, in fact, I had a discussion with the most senior officials as well as some of the ministers saying that direct tax code is now buried. Though Mr. Jaitley initially was very prompt in saying that because, he never wanted to take panga with his predecessors, Chidambaram, because still the BJP does not have full majority in Rajya Sabha. So he wanted to please him all the time. Therefore, direct tax code, sorry, it is not going to come. As far as GAR is concerned, there is another news associated with that. As far as GAR is concerned, General Anti-Avoidance Rules, India has got the statute which has a GAR which is coming up in 1st of April 2015. It is going to be implemented. That is as per the Income Tax Act. But the assurance given by the ministers, the revenue minister, and on the floor of the House, on some of the meetings, shows GAR is not going to be implemented immediately. Possibly it will be deferred for another 1 or 2 years. There will be some soothing period that will be given. GAR has the concept of the CFC thin capitalization partly, and therefore one has to guard against the GAR. GAR today or tomorrow is going to come. Let me tell you, GAR is part of the life throughout the world. GAR means General Anti-Avoidance Rules, which means the power to the revenue officers to look into the transactions more in a detailed manner and recharacterize the transaction. You say, sir, I have done the business in this manner. He says, I don't agree. This ought to have been done in this manner, which is very dangerous. In a country where the corruption is at the peak, at all level, introduction of GAR is a suicidal. If the atmosphere is clean and you bring the GAR, I can really understand that is the reality. Nothing wrong about it. But we have already got a judicial GAR in this country. Why should we have a GAR? Why should we require a GAR? So therefore, on GAR, I am very absolutely pessimist. The GAR is not going to come so soon. At least it will have 2 years breathing.
Yes. Friends, with in paucity of time, we'll just curtail the question and answer session here. Of course, Mr. Oswal is available post this session. May I invite our past chairman of BCICI, Mr. Suresh Surana, to honor Mr. T.P. Oswal with a memento. He is not there. Oh, sorry. My apologies. C.A. Suresh Surana. Friends, we still have a couple of surprises lined up this evening. And the top of the chart is a celebrity who is soon going to be with us. He's on his way and we are all eagerly waiting for him. Yep. He should be here any moment. Might be 1 minute or so. So that's why we're just holding on the session. Yeah, may I invite our Vice Chairman, C.A. Kapil, to give his vote of thanks.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a time to be grateful. My first and foremost thank goes to the Almighty, who ensured that no disruption came to our way which we could not manage. Now, some gratitude towards those who are not present here. First, we thank the government of Bahrain for accommodating us here in large numbers so that we can proudly say that we do grand functions. Then, Honorable Minister of Industry and Commerce, His Excellency Hassan A. Fakhro, for his support and patronage to our event. Then, we are thankful to Embassy of India, who have been very generous in patronizing us year after year, and we remain grateful forever to them. Bahrain Accountant Association, under whose aegis we flourish here, deserves a special thanks, and more so to Mr. Abbas Al-Radi for being personally present here. Mr. Jamal Fakhro, who has never put any condition whatsoever, I stress, any condition whatsoever to support us. No demands, only support. Thank you very much, Mr. Jamal Fakhro. In this material world, friends, money plays a big role. BCICI has been fortunate that the sponsors which come with us, most of them, stay with us. And their support is getting stronger and stronger year after year. So this year, we had a chance to say thanks to sponsors. Our title sponsors, Mercedes-Benz, BDO, Mashraq, and our event sponsors, KPMG, Ibrahim K. Kanu, Grant Thornton, FIC, PwC, Nimai, Batelco, Air France, and KLM.
Under the patronage of His Excellency Dr. Hassan A. Fakhro, Minister of Industry and Commerce, Kingdom of Bahrain, Bahrain chapter of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India presents International Conference, Together Towards Tomorrow. CS our strategic partner, November 28th to 29th, 2014. Our title sponsors, Mashraq Bank, BDO Jawad Habbi, Mercedes-Benz. Event sponsors, Grant Thornton. Day sponsors, Fahad Ali Rasa Engineering Consultants, KPMG, EK Kanu, PricewaterhouseCoopers. Supporting sponsors, Nimai Consultants, Tanjay Real Estate, Key Point, Expert Property, Al Namal Group, Bahrain Commercial Facilities Company, Battleco, Devji, ICAEW, Asia Jewelers, Ahli United Bank, Al Manara Tail, American Express, Bahrain National Insurance. Other sponsors, Gulf Hotel, State Bank of India, Arabian
जो मिला तो मुझे ऐसा लगता था जैसे मेरी सारी दुनिया में गीतों के रुत और रंगों की बरखा है, खुशबू की आंधी है, महकी हुई सी अब सारी फिजाएं हैं, महकी हुई सी अब सारी हवाएं हैं, खोई हुई सी अब सारी दिशाएं हैं, बदली हुई सी अब सारी अदाएं हैं, जागी उमंगे हैं, धड़क रहा है दिल, सांसों में तूफान है, होठों पे नगमे हैं, आंखों में सपने हैं, सपनों में बीते हुए सारे वो लम्हे हैं, जब कोई आए था नजरों पे छाया था दिल में समाया था कैसे मैं बताऊं तुम्हें कैसा उसे पाया था प्यार से चेहरे पे बिखरी जो जुल्फे तो ऐसा लगता था जैसे कोहरे के पीछे एक ओस में धुला हुआ फूल खिला है जैसे बादल में एक चांद छुपा है और झांक रहा है जैसे रात के पर्दे में एक सवेरा है रोशन रोशन आंखों में सपनों का सागर जिसमें प्रेम सितारों की
Straight out of the mic, huh? It's indeed a pleasure coming here, and thank you so much for such a warm welcome. I'm really deeply honored and humbled being over here, and I really had a fantastic time. I don't know how many of you attended the show yesterday. Oh wow! You all were the noise makers yesterday. And really, I mean, I must say that before climbing on stage, you don't know what to expect, but when I hit the first note, I knew that I've had one of the finest audiences in a long time. Thank you for being so supportive for yesterday's concert. I know that you all bought a lot of tickets in large numbers through Faisal, and I really thank you all for that. And I've come here after a long time. After 8 years, I performed yesterday with my colleagues Ehsan and Roy, who are, part of my career, part of my. It's like a marriage. I married 2 other people along with my wife. It's like that. And I really am looking forward to coming again and performing for you all. Anytime you all want me to come over here, I'll be more than happy. I'm feeling like one kindergarten kid over here standing in front of all you intelligent people. I don't even know India chapter, AOCA, but I hope you're having a great evening. I did have a great time. I enjoyed my concert. I did a lot of shopping. It's beautiful weather over there. I love this country and I want to come back again. Thank you so much. It's not 3 marriages, it's actually 2 marriages. Because 2 of them are married at the same time. Ehsan and Roy, that is one marriage. And of course, one is my conventional marriage, which has happened for 22 years now. Honestly speaking, if you go to see, it is like a marriage because from Monday to Friday, every single day, for the last 18 years, we are working in a studio. And I think probably I have spent more time with them than my wife, if you go to see. So, I think probably we are the very few trio music composer team, as you can say, who have lasted this long. And we hope to last till the end of our careers whenever it happens. And it can only happen if, I think, you work towards it. You have to work towards this relationship, this partnership happening. You cannot take each other for granted. Every Monday when we come to the studio, we see to it that if anybody is getting even 1 hour late, we inform each other that I'm late. It's not that, it's okay, man. He'll understand. So it is like a marriage. You have to work towards it. And I think we are all human beings and we have our emotions. Some days somebody is feeling absolutely high and it's a creative field. Some day you're in a bad mood. You've had some domestic problem and you come to the studio and you don't feel like composing music. So I think if one person is down, the other 2 holds fort. If 2 people are down, one single guy holds fort. If all 3 are down, then we take a chutti. But it is, as you said, it is a marriage and you have to work towards it. And you have to understand each other's emotions, each other's ideas. You have to respect each other's ideas. Because, see, it's a very abstract time. We are creating a song out of nowhere. In the morning we come and say, okay, it's a happy song, so let's start with the song. So if Ehsan gives me an idea, I have to respect that idea, other than trashing it, or vice versa. If I give an idea to Lloyd, he has to see to it, and then it's teamwork. You have to put your efforts, you have to respect the person's idea, see how far that idea grows. You have to honestly see to it that the idea try to make that idea grow. And then if it doesn't grow, of course, you can trash it and you can look at some other idea. But I think respect for each other's thought processes, ideas, giving each other space to think and work towards a creative product, because it's a creative product. What is right for me may be wrong for you, but both are right at the same time.
One line.
For?
Song.
कौन सा गाना सुना बोलो?
No song without peace. The person who asks has to pay peace.
नहीं यार, अभी इतने प्यार से इतने सारे चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट सेक्रेटरी को गाना लगेगा। कौन सा गाना सुनाओ?
हर घड़ी बदल रही।
अच्छा देखो, माँ तो कल सुना है, तो आप शायद घर चले गए थे जैसे। विश्वरूपम तमिलियन सर, माइनॉरिटी, they kill me. हिंदी नेशनल लैंग्वेज है ना? बेस्ट सॉन्ग which I didn't sing, मैं डर के मारे ये गाना नहीं गाया कल। सुनो गौर से दुनिया वालों, बुरी नजर ना हम पे डालो, चाहे जितना जोर डालो, सबसे आगे होके हिंदुस्तानी, हिंदुस्तानी। हमने कहा है तुम भी कहो, हमने कहा है जो तुम भी कहो। आओ हम मिलजुल के बोले अब तो यारा, अपना जहां है सबसे प्यारा। हमने कहा है जो तुम भी कहो। भारत माता की।
That was the only thing pending throughout the whole program. Merit like this. We got it. Members, however money we can spend, we cannot learn unless somebody gives us that knowledge. So we are thankful to our speakers who have come over here to enlighten us selflessly. C.A. Bala, Jamal Yusuf, Sanjay Chakrabarti, C.A. Surya, Kail, Mr. Tiwari, Ashok Cadet, C.A. Jitendra, C.A. Madhukrishna Noy, Mr. Satish Bandora, Reem Mahrooz, Mr. Munkar, C.A. Amajit Chopra, and C.A. T.P. Oswal. When I was discussing with Mr. Chopra, he should come here. He said, every year I come, Kapil. Don't you think your people deserve variety? I said, sir, you are talking about variety. I have to think about many T's. Because I have to deliver quality and I have to get rid of my anxiety. So he promised he will come whenever we call. And last but not the least, among the speaker, our President C.A. Raghu. Because as President, we always say our thanks last to him because he is the roof, and roof is always laid down after the walls are erected. So C.A. Raghu, in your absentia, I thank you. And my friends, no two people are alike. A team is formed when many people with many strengths and different qualities come together, and that is your XCOM. I say thanks to all of you for choosing us as a formidable XCOM here in BCCI. But can 11 people manage the show? Never, never, never. That's why we had lots and lots of volunteers with us. I want to say personally thanks to them. Meenu Sharani, Roma Punjabi, Nupur Daga, Renu Mehta, Abhishek Dikshit, Akhil Jain, Abhijit Gupta, Jay Kaleda, Mayur Tulsiyan, Sanjay Gupta, Anup Gupta, Sumit Dadda, Mani Dashmurti, Arun Kulpani, T.D. Balraj, Shaukat Khandwala, Shri Bhakti, Bhuvna Mittu, C.A. Gopal, C.A. Balu, Chasati, Meenakshi, and Shubhashri, Meenakshi Sundaram, and WhatsApp developers. Friends, I'm a poet. I wanted to convey my gratitude towards our volunteers by saying this. न मैं कुछ सा हूं न तू ही मेरे जैसा है. ये इंतजाम ही कुदरत का मियां ऐसा है. मदद को हाथ बढ़ाए हो वक्त मुश्किल जब. मदद को हाथ बढ़ाए हो वक्त मुश्किल जब. मेरे लिए तो वही शख्स खुदा जैसा है. Volunteers who came and talked to us, and thank you very much for being here. And members, without you being present here, we will not be successful. Thank you very much to all of you. And I wish to thank Federal Pakistan also for being here for the last 2 days tirelessly. And last but not the least, the hotel, which gave us nice space, some food, and some credit goes to me by deciding menu. And all of us are waiting for something. Raffles here. Vivek Kapoor.
Thank you, Sri Kapil. The most awaited session for the day is here. Due to paucity of time, we will not cancel the raffle, but I request you just raise your hand if the person is present in the hall. We will note down the number, the name, and we will give it to you later because there is another function which we have to hand over the hall. So quickly, I would like to start first with the women's special, which was supposed to be held by Shankar Mahadevan, but photograph was more important. And I will request our volunteer Roma to draw a card because she's been helping us tirelessly in the last 2 days. So she has done justice to her friend C. Nupur Daga. You are there, right? We have second one is gold coin sponsored by Devji. Mahesh, can you help me to pick a winner?
Excel is not working.
Distributing that.
So Sia Roma is the winner. The third raffle is a blender again. Ramesh, can you help me? Sachin, are you in the hall? The fourth ticket which we will use only after March is a trip to Europe. Can you help me, Mahesh, with the lucky winner? Venkatesh, are you there? So somebody else is lucky. Balu sir, please. I request Captain Sunil Saraf to be on stage to help us with the Nimai Management Consultants gift. Captain Sunil? Okay. Nimai. So the Nimai Management Consultant is giving 2 sets of pens. Mr. Williams, बताइए. Mr. Jatin Karya. Mr. Sanjay Gupta. So there are 3 lucky winners whom Mercedes is giving. Mr. M.S. Giri. Cancel. Easy, sorry. Oh, Mr. Santosh TV. Third one is Mr. Harish Gopinath. Is he around? Next, please, one. Mr. Sanjay Gupta. Drive the Mercedes with a pen. The most important, land. Can I request the representative from Expat Properties to come on stage? Expat Properties is giving our lucky member 200 square feet land near Bangalore Airport. I don't know how near it is, but it is. At the end of the day, it's free land. Mr. Percy Mistry. So there is a suggestion, quick suggestion, Mr. Percy. Next event is being sponsored by you. At that side. Ladies and gentlemen, before we close for the day, thank you very much. All candidates, please collect your gifts by handing over your badges on the gift desk, and then please you be carried. Please fill your feedback form also, and all the volunteers, please collect your gifts from the ExCom after we close it. Thank you so much. ExCom, please be on stage for a picture.